Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good morning, everyone. Distinguished speaker, respected lecturers, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to today's international webinar entitled English Beyond the Borders, Building Global Academics and Research Partnerships. This event in the International Office of UIN Sultan Taha Saifuddin Jambi with the valuable support of GLA University India. My name is Aulia Handayani and I have the honor of serving as your moderator for today's session. Thank you very much for joining us. We hope this webinar will provide meaningful insight and inspire future international academic collaborations. Before we begin, allow me to briefly introduce the theme of today's webinar. Today's webinar explores how English functions not only as a language of communication, but also as a bridge that connects scholars, educators, and researchers across cultures, institutions, and disciplines. In today's increasingly interconnected academic world, English enables us to exchange ideas, develop collaborative research, strengthen international partnerships, and contribute to solving global challenges through collective innovation. We hope today's discussion will encourage all participants to expand their academic horizons and build meaningful connections beyond the national borders. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, I would like to invite Dr. Gion Ginanto to give the opening speech. The time is yours, Doctor.
Thank you, Aulia Handayani. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good morning, everyone. Alhamdulillah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. I'm so grateful for today, this morning, that we can invite Dr. Nutan Kumari from GLA University. Me and Dr. Nutan has been communicating for maybe for more than a month or 2 months, to discuss of the proposed activities in the future. And then this morning, we start with the international webinar. And I believe this international webinar will be the first and and I'm sure that in the future we will have more productive collaboration between Islamic State University of Sultan Toha Saifuddin Jambi, or we call it UIN, UIN STS Jambi. Dr. Nutan Kumari, as you might already know, that our university is Islamic University under two ministry. So one is the Ministry of Religious Affairs and also the Ministry of Higher Education. So as we discussed before, that there are many opportunities for us to partner in the future in the form of research, or maybe in the form of teaching, and in the form of community engagement. And we believe India and Indonesia share, like the commonality. India is the second largest population in the world, and while Indonesia is the fourth largest population in the world. And India and Indonesia will be, two like great two great countries which has a very strong economy in the future. So starting with this collaboration, in the form of education and also in English, I believe we will have meaningful partnership in the future. So with that in mind, once again, thank you so much, Dr. Nutan Kumari. Once again, I believe this is not the first and the last, but we believe this is like the first and to open the door for many more productive collaboration. Thank you so much. And I give the mic back to Aulia. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dion, for your speech this morning. It is now my pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker. Today we are honored to have Dr. Nutan Kumari. Dr. Nutan Kumari serves as the Associate Director of International Affairs at GLA University, India. She is also a former Cambridge English trainer and assessor. Throughout her career, she has conducted more than 500 international workshops, trained air traffic controllers for the Airports Authority of India, and received several prestigious recognitions, including the Mithila Vibhuti Samman and the International Literary Award. We are truly grateful for her willingness to share her expertise and experiences with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Nutan Kumari. The time is yours, Doctor.
Thank you so very much. I'm humbled and grateful with such nice opening. Thank you so very much, Pauli. Okay, let me just first of all share. Is my screen visible?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
It's almost there.
Oh.
Yes, now it is.
Now it's there?
Yep.
Okay, thank you so very much. So thank you, Dr. Dion Ginato, and distinguished professors, faculty members, dear students, and other friends from UIN Jambi, Indonesia. It indeed is a great pleasure and a great honor to be with you all today. And although we are connected virtually, I truly believe that education has the power to bring people together beyond these geographical boundaries. India and Indonesia have enjoyed centuries of friendship built on some cultural exchange, education, and above all, the mutual respect that these countries have for each other. So I believe that the universities like ours have an important role in carrying this further. Yes, as an academicians, as an academic institutions, we have to take it further with research, innovation, and academic collaboration, of course. So today's session is not simply about delivering lecture. It is about exploring opportunities to work together as academic partners in the coming future. So before I begin, I would really like to express my sincere appreciation to Dr. Dion Ginato from UIN, who has made this coordination and the possibility that today's international webinar is now no more in planning. The writing is there on the wall. So I hope that today's discussion will inspire new ideas. It will, of course, have some scope of future collaborations and lasting friendships between our institutions. Friends, education today is no longer confined by national borders. And every collaboration begins with a conversation like me and Dr. Gijanto started with that, as he mentioned, that from probably 1 month around, we have been in talks. And I hope that today's conversation, followed by the conversation that the Office of International Affairs of GLA University, India, and UIN Indonesia have been having, as the doctor said, that it should be just the not the beginning. It should be a beginning. It should be the first, but not, of course, the last. It should be opening the door for many future collaborations. Because research also becomes stronger when it brings together different perspectives. Now, English is not replacing our native languages. Rather, it serves as a bridge that allows us to share our ideas with the world. Now, every university, whether it is GLA University or UI Asia, and any other for that reason, all the universities, each and every universities have some strengths, some meaningful partnerships, and through those strengths, if there is a meaningful partnership, both of us can emerge when our strengths complement one another. So let me now come to the broader vision of internationalization. Please confirm if my slide has changed.
Yes, it's the second slide now.
Okay, thank you so very much. So, English today is much more than a language. It is the language of global academic communication. And English enables the researchers, the educators, and the students to collaborate across cultures, across disciplines. Like we were just discussing about the journal, Dr. Dion, that now most international journals, the conferences, and the research networks, they use English as a common medium. And mastering English expands the opportunities for higher education, innovation, and professional growth, because it serves as a bridge connecting local knowledge with global impact. So through this, you can see that this one English is the master key with the science and technology, global business, higher education, research and AI, and of course, so on and so forth. Language is not merely a means of communication. It's a bridge. It's a bridge to knowledge, to innovation, and to the global understanding. So English drives the 21st century knowledge economy. We have, like, as we see that in higher education, we have the primary language of instruction at the top ranked universities as English. The dominant language of the global research, with over 90% of indexed scientific journals, they also publish in English. And science and technology, English is the language, essential infrastructure for STEM, data science, engineering, emerging technologies, artificial intelligence, a buzzword nowadays. Everything. Can you imagine but without English? And finally, the global business, the shared language of of the international conferences, the digital collaboration, and innovation has to be English. English also acts as a catalyst. Internationalization in higher education. Like you speak some language, we speak some language. Could we, whether it is the Office of International Affairs of UIN Indonesia or GLA University India, could you even imagine to connect if we did not have this language? So we need to create a self-sustaining ecosystem that ecosystem can move around the mobility, the student and the faculty exchange, the virtual exchange, the cultural immersion. There can be some, collaboration in the joint research, dual degrees, co-authored publications, innovations, projects, etc. And of course, like most of the universities nowadays are outcome driven. So the global employability, the scholarships that your government, that Indian government have for the foreign students, the international networking, the professional growth, all these can be seen through such collaborations. But yes, we need to take the first step. Every long journey begins with the first step, and probably both these universities have already taken the first step. Now, why English? Because it unlocks the gateway to global research impact. We need to master English. We need to access the networks. We need to make a global impact. So the foundation will be that led us in both the universities create, I'm sure the ecosystem is there, but yet boosted ecosystem so that the foundation to master English, as I said, that every long journey begins with the first step. I'm sure you have this department of English there at your universities. We have that at our university. So let us find out the ways in which the members of the teaching and learning fraternity can set a strong foundation, and how our faculties can supervise the students, the international students, to master English and set a strong foundation. Then the next phase, that is the development phase through the networks, through some conference, presentations, international networking. And I believe that, of course, this has to move on through a sustainable model. It shouldn't be as if it is just once done is done forever. There should be a sustainable model. There should be a strong foundation to create the international landscape, the ecosystem, and so that the outcome becomes automated. Now, let me tell you a little bit that why India? India has one of the world's largest and most dynamic higher education system. It offers quality education in English across the domains, that is the we recently had our NEP 2020, that is our new education policy, the National Education Policy 2020. It was launched. If I'm sure you must have heard of it. The execution phase is going on right now. We at our university have the chairperson of that NEP 2020, who is coming and disseminating, because when some initiatives are taken up, the idea is conceived, and the dissemination and the execution of that idea becomes more important, because the people who behind the scene, they conceived the idea with some purpose in the mind, with some objective in the mind. And if that objective doesn't match the outcome, the purpose is defeated. That's why we have the chairperson, Dr. Nirmaljeet Kalshi here, who has been speaking, who has been training our faculties, who has been taking sessions regularly, so that we can understand the very essence of NEP 2020, which promotes innovation, which promotes multidisciplinary education, and it promotes global partnerships. We have a whole set of ideas and objectives for the internationalization. So Indian universities are increasingly collaborating with institutions around the world, and we warmly welcome Indonesian students, scholars, and the faculties to be a part of this growing academic ecosystem. So, what are some of the opportunities? There are opportunities for both students and the faculties. There are some shared foundations which make the bilateral partnerships highly strategic. As I told you about the NEP 2020, which focuses about the global expansion, STEM, AI, uh, and we recently have become we had the partnership with both Google and Microsoft, which are the two, renowned players. And Indonesia, in Indonesia, for UIN and Jambi context, as far as I could learn, that it is expanding international reach. It has a high youth demographic. It has growing research ambitions. So every time I talk to Dr. Gianto, I feel that a lot of spark, lot of passion to work for the purpose of internationalization in the mutual benefit of the teaching and learning fraternity. So there is a synergy. There's a shared foundation. One is the Asian values, growing economies, English as a common academic operating system. So we can have some joint focus areas, AI research, sustainable development, climate change, smart cities, language programs, and so on and so forth. So GLA University provides the structural gateway for this partnership. We are an accredited and multidisciplinary institution. There's a misprint here. It's not 12,000 plus. We have 22,000 plus students from across India and abroad. And we have strong institutional focus on AI, emerging technologies, and robust industry linkages. So there can be a lot of possibilities, partnership, that which is the most important focus area, as I could make out from the conversation with Dr. Dion, that there can be, student and faculty exchange. There can be summer schools, winter schools, short-term certifications, joint research publications, and so on and so forth. The virtual exchanges, the collaborative online teaching, virtual shared classrooms, English language training, and the professional development. So we can propose to each other structured mobility pathways which exist for both the students and the faculty members. For example, we can have the short-term engagements, summer and winter schools, some semester exchange programs, some research internships, some virtual exchange. We can also have the visiting professorships. We have a few very, very talented faculty. Means most of them, all of them are very talented. But yes, there are few who have actually proved to be, within the 2% of the scientists in the world. And their names are there in the world. So we have such faculty base. So we can definitely benefit from each other. We can have some long-term integration, like we can have some UGPG PhD degree programs across all these disciplines. We can have some PhD co-supervision. So your faculties can be a co-supervisor for our students and scholars. Our faculties can be a co-supervisor for your students and scholars. We can hold some joint workshops, some curriculum development, and there can be some joint outcomes. As I said, that we are now the Google Agentic AI campus, and we have an expertise in AI. So there can be n number of possibilities for the joint outcomes in forms of the publication, research, innovation, or the student and faculty mobility, of course. Now, talking about the collaborative research focus on high impact global challenge. This is just a suggestive loop. Like there can be the focus areas like artificial intelligence and machine learning, cyber security and business management, business analytics, renewable energy and sustainability, smart city development, education and language training, healthcare innovations, agriculture and advancement, tourism, yoga, and wellness centers. We can definitely have some, dedicated funding frameworks, maybe government funding. There are many government funding, like just now Dr. Dion and me were talking about few that it comes under the religious center and the Ministry of Indonesia. So we can have, create a pathway, and then we can talk further in these areas. So we need to sit together and unlock some global research, the faculty members I'm talking about, and to start, writing and publishing in high impact Scopus and Web of Science journals. We can have some drafting of the competitive grants that are available with both the governments, some project reports. We can have some leading conference and presentations and the international networkings. We can have some supervising and mentoring international students, as I said. For the students as well, we can have a lot of, mastering. Right now, I just recently took up as the head of the training and development, and I'm creating one module, one manual for the students who are appearing in our in the placement. Like the placement season is already open, and we have companies lined up every year, around more than 500 companies here. And like any place, it becomes really any other place and any other area, of course. It becomes the matter of prime requisite that we train our students how to face the interview. So I'm preparing a very focused, very customized manual, which is supposed to train the trainers first, those trainers who are training our students. So this is into two parts, means I call it pilot, and that pilot is PILOTT. So that is actually placement integrated learning and oral training and testing. So we are first training our students. It has to go in two phases. First, the trainer program is going to happen. Then we are going to conduct the students training, and both these trainers and who are the trainers, there will be two committees within that framework. One will be the trainers committee, other one would be the assessors committee. So the trainers would be means this training and the assessment will be in the paired format. So the trainers would be the MBAs, because this primarily we are starting with the MBA students. Later on, we'll take up the similar module for maybe for the STEM background students and other also, but pilot is being piloted with the MBA graduates. So what we are going to do is that the teachers, the trainers who are involved into training for the standardization purpose, we are first training that, like if we have 10 trainers, it's not that trainer A goes in the class and performs in one way and the trainer B who goes in the class and performs other way. So to put it in a standardized format, I have created one module, which is probably, I guess, 30 hours. Means, yes, it's a 30 hours module. 30 hours, if it is administered, will then go for the assessment. And if it's like that training has different components, like the grammar and vocabulary, so that their lexicon competence and structural competence enhances. We have for the phonological competence and so on and so forth. And of course, the collaborative conversation that they can take up in the turn taking and so on and so forth. So why I'm telling about this is that the same module can also be administered for your students if you are willing. And we can have then the assessment. Some of your trainers can be first trained for administering the training, and then they can be trained for taking the assessment, because that assessment also is a very meticulous purpose, because assessment too should include the learning potential. It already has the learning potential, but how we are able to execute that, that is the matter of prime importance. So we have n number of opportunities to have the India-Indonesia academic synergy with the shared foundations, with the shared Asian values and deep historical ties to South Asia, with the rapidly growing economies driven by the strong youth population, with embracing English as the common denominator for academic exchange. And like we can together work, and we can together bring out the writing on the wall. So here there is a short journey of the student at GLA. We can start with the students coming from Indonesia, or maybe for some virtual, we can always begin with, means without any further delay, where the students can come up with the summer and winter schools, semester exchange, classroom, then the research internship. Then we can have the UG, PG, and PhD pathways, where the means some very energetic students and the energetic faculty members who are passionate about making the difference in the teaching and learning landscape, they can come up to be a part of the advanced degree programs. And then we can have the scholarship support from the governments, like we were talking about. So the faculty collaboration can go like, the instructional exchange in the form of the shared virtual classroom, or some online guest lectures across the shared disciplines from different disciplines can be taken up. Then some physical mobility, the institutional alignment, and of course the deep research, which remains at the heart of the educators and the innovators and the researchers. So moving together forward, there are limitless opportunities that I try to take up. We can, the borders separate countries, but education and language unite. So with this thought, we can have more exchanges, more research, more of the innovation. I have also tried to just to take up this few pictures which can act, which means indicate some of the areas where India-Indonesia educational collaboration can come up through the bridge of knowledge. There are already a few things which are going on. We can definitely boost it up with our joint efforts. We like GL University Mathura and UIN Asia, both of us can also collaborate with intra-departmental collaboration. I did a little bit of mapping, so we can establish a collaboration hub. Now, India-Indonesia Collaboration Hub will do the mapping of the various departments. Like your department, if you have MBA, if we have MBA, both these departments can sit, talk, the faculties. The first we can take up with the directors, the HODs, a meeting with the HODs. Then we can further go to the faculty, senior faculty members, and with the student. We can have some sustainable activity which can help both these institutions to grow further. Now, there's one thing which I really wanted to tell all of you, which I found that can be very, very interesting, because this webinar is about building partnerships beyond the borders. I would like to suggest a simple but a very, very meaningful activity, which can be a monthly online short storytelling series, which is called Ramayana Across the Borders. Now, the purpose is not to study the Ramayana from a religious perspective, but as a shared literary and cultural heritage that has inspired generations in both India and Indonesia. So each month, the students from our universities could present one episode in English, compared the Indian and the Indonesian interpretations, and discuss the universal values that Ramayana reflects: the leadership, the courage, the compassion, the integrity, and of course, the service. So, through storytelling, literature, and cultural exchange, can be, the students would strengthen their English language communication, first of all, and while deepening the mutual understanding and appreciation of this shared heritage, we can, make some difference. So, the faculties and students from India and faculty and students from Indonesia could take turns narrating one episode in English, and then we can just compare the versions, the interpretations. So this can be some wonderful thing, because the distance which can be taken up in the online form, the distance between Mathura and Jambi can be measured in kilometers, but through such shared activities, through education, through research, and through our friendship, we can make that distance disappear. So uh, uh, I guess that with this we come to, yes, this is just one I newspaper cutting that I just saw during this session only. I was just scrolling around, and then I saw that there was one news about such collaboration. I wish that the next news in the newspaper should be with the UIN and GLA. So that is all from my side for now. I open the floor for the questions and answers. If you have some questions, some doubts from the sessions, we can take it up. And thank you very much for being a very patient audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nutan Kumari, for the insightful and inspiring presentation. I believe we have gained valuable perspective on how English serves not only as a means of communication, but also as a bridge for global academic and research collaboration. Now, we are moving to the question and answer session. For all participants, if you have any questions, please feel free to type the question in the chat box or use the raise hand features if you'd like to ask your question directly. We'll wait for a moment while participants prepare the questions.
Sure, no worries.
Well, waiting for other participants to ask questions, Dr. Nutan Kumari. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. I am very interested with your last slide. You mentioned about Ramayana recitations of the story because of the Papa dance on, or we call it wayang in Indonesia, is very popular. For old people, right? For me, and also like older than me, is very popular. But for the Gen Z, or like the younger, like our students here, they not really, like know about wayang, or like this Indian story, Indian Indonesian story. And I think with the Ramayana recitation of the story, because like the story of India and Indonesia, there are so many commonality, but also the differences. Um, For example, because my heritage, my parents are coming from Java. Java is very, like they have this culture of Papa dance in Java. And I know, like Ramayana and also other story of this since I was kid. So, and then I'm wondering because we also have this collaboration with Michigan State University 2 years ago. Uh, we have COIL class, collaborative online international learning with the student from America. And then in the final project, we perform wayang, Indonesian traditional puppet dance. And then we kind of like adjust the story. So it's not pure the story of from Mahabharata or Ramayana, but the story of not cutting the forest, the story of to love the nature, to love the environment. So that's the we try to put that the story, but in the form of culture. So, and then my question is, if this idea, I know in this forum we have the some assistant professors and also lecture from English department and also from the English literature, and I think they will be interested in like follow up with this programs or activities. But then is it in the form of class or is it in the form of like webinar like this? Because I think this is very doable and like asking our student to recite the stories in English using the Ramayana story.
Thank you so very
Thank you,
much. I
Dr.
read
Nutan.
about, yeah, thank you so very much. I read somewhere that you even performed that Ramayana ballet.
It's in the form of puppet dance, not in the like performs. It's the puppet dance.
Okay. Yeah, so I believe that it can be a monthly webinar kind of thing. Monthly, we can just fix up one date, maybe the first Monday or the last Friday or the last Monday, any one date we can, or maybe the last date of the month, wherein we can do it in the webinar form only. It will be better, wherein we can have lot many things. The format, for the format, etc. We can have another meeting with your English department, and then we can go ahead with this idea. Thank you that you appreciated and you recognized the very essence of this idea of taking up Ramayana as a collaborative activity, as our first collaborative activity. So we can definitely discuss on the format, and yes, it's very much doable. And I'm sure that both the countries will enjoy it. So once you start enjoying doing something, the result becomes easier to be seen.
Yeah, I think the format of webinar would be good idea instead of like the formal classes. Thank you,
Yes,
Dr.
yes.
Nutan.
Thank you.
Thank you for the answer, Doctor. Now we have received question from our participants. Let us begin with the first one
So
from
can you
Anissa
repeat the question?
Arifiani.
Do we have the questions in the chat?
From the chat box, not yet, but we have a question from Anissa Arifiani.
Sure.
Okay, Miss. Let me introduce myself. My name is Anissa Arifiani. I want to ask, could you share some practical strategies for finding international research collaborators and maintaining long-term academic partnerships? Okay, thank you.
Can you just tell me the questions once again?
Okay. Could you share some practical strategies for finding international research collaborators and maintaining long-term academic partnerships.
May I know what is your area of work?
What, Miss?
You're from which department?
From English department.
Okay, okay. So
Also,
yes, there can
are you student? Are you student or a lecturer?
Student, sir.
Okay, okay.
yeah. Okay, so you are a PG student?
I think undergrad. Anissa, are you undergrad student?
No, sir.
Are you
You're a
master or
PG?
undergrad student?
Yes, I undergrad.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, what we are going to propose is like me and Dr. Dion after this session, we are going to create a collaboration hub. Now, through this collaboration hub, we are going to, it's not only for the English department because internationalization should not be only confined to one office. It's a shared responsibility of all the faculty members across the domains. So, when the departments will connect with our departments, we can definitely, like one idea I gave you uh, for the English department, that we can have Ramayana to begin with because there are some shared values. Then we can have for Mahabharata similar things. We come from the land of Lord Krishna, and if you have heard of Bhagavad Gita, you can see that I don't take it as a only merely a religious book. It should be taken as a life skill that has been taught through this. So these are some of those areas, and like you said, like Dr. Dion said, that it is probably your university is also under the Ministry of Religious Affairs. Is it so? Did I get it right, Dr. Dion?
Yeah, yeah. Ministry of
Yeah.
Religious Affairs.
Yeah, Ministry of Religious Affairs. So there can be the comparative literature, comparative activities where you can, we can take up few things, and your interpretation, your understanding and our understanding can be matched, and this can be later submitted to these ministries, to the Ministry of Religious Affairs, to our Ministry of External Affairs and all. And that, the government, I don't think that there are such data available with the government also. Understand? So we can take up such things, such comparative literature. So rather than waiting for large externally funded projects, we can first begin with some simple and achievable initiatives. Understand? Like these monthly online expert lectures, then the faculty research dialogue series, the students cultural exchanges, or the joint supervision of the student research. Then there can be an annual virtual research symposium. So I hope that today's session becomes a starting point of a long term academic collaborations, and there can be like all these departments, like the law department can sit, and then we can have the Hindu Marriage Act, the Muslim Marriage Act, and there are so many things or points of, like the expert faculties can even come up with more, means the domain expert faculties can come up with, because we all have to read, like though if there is a student from law background, he has to read all these, the Muslim Hindu Marriage Act, Muslim Marriage Act. So different types of collaborations can be planned. We definitely have to have a departmental integration for this. So we can have another meeting with all the department heads and Dr. Dion, under the leadership of Dr. Dion, and we'll invite from our university also such our own HODs, and that we can sit and that we can find out some collaborations, possibilities of some collaborations where we can have, like right now, this Ramayana across the borders, the storytelling for cultural dialogue can It can begin with the faculties initially, and then a little later it can disseminate to the students. So maybe 1 or 2 sessions only faculties can begin with, your faculties, our faculties, and then later it should those YouTubes can be streamed, and it can be shared with the students, and then you can bring it as an opportunity to the students that look, the faculties have started, and now the university is trying to give opportunity to its students also, that you come, you have this podcast, and you should enhance, because ultimately our students, they are the ones in whom we are really willing to make some difference, and whatever in mind they have come up to your university. Once they join one university, there's a lot of trust, not only of the student but also of the parents, that we win, that they choose our university. So with such activities, that it's a kind of boosting that trust and creating equal opportunity for all our students. Initially, only those who are really passionate, who are really willing, they will come. And with the involvement of these students, these uh, students who are self-motivated, I can say, they will come, but later those motivated students can further disseminate and further motivate the other learners as well. Okay, there is a question in the chat box, I see.
Yes, Dr. Nutan Kumari, we have another question here from Erlang Campino from English department. Okay, so the question is, Ravana is often seen purely as the ultimate villain, but he was also known as a great scholar and devotee. How do contemporary scholars interpret the complexity of his character? Dr.
Yeah.
Nutan Kumari, would you kindly respond to this question?
Yeah, sure. Am I audible? Am I audible? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm so happy for this question. Thank you so much. This is by Mr. Uh, Alvianda, right? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Alvianda. So, yes, you have rightly mentioned that Ravana is often seen purely as the ultimate villain, but he was known as a great scholar and devotee also. So, talking about the contemporary scholars, the complexity of his character, I will tell you that although I won't drive into the divided, uh, perception of all the contemporary scholars, but one example I'll tell you, that when Ravana was killed by Lord Ram, then he was on his deathbed, and Ram immediately told his younger brother Ravan that I'm sorry, his younger brother Lakshman, that Lakshman, now that Ravana is about to die, he is on his deathbed, in no time he will. So you go, he is a great scholar. You go and seek some gyan, some knowledge from him, because that knowledge will go away with his last breaths. So it was, I'm really happy that you have such uh, you have come up with such question, that yes, he was a scholar, he was more than anything, he was first known as and even Ravana, he was, at the end, he was like, this can be interpreted that he was actually willing to die, uh, with Lord Rama's army. So that was, he got the Sadgati, the moksha, just because Ram himself, the Lord Rama, Lord Rama killed him. So for him, it was a kind of Sadgati and the moksha. So that was also a part of his devotional acumen, his scholarship, that he decided. Otherwise, he was a great warrior also.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for the explanation. Yes. We can see here. Can we move to next question, Doctor?
Yes, we can move, and I have another 2 minutes because I thought that this will end up at 9 o'clock. I means for me it is already 9:30. So I can take one last question and then we can say it is already means now I have to leave for my university.
Okay.
Yeah. So one question we can take.
Okay. So this is the last question for our session today, Doctor. So we have a
Later, if you
question.
want, you can just take away all the questions and email me. I'll love to answer all the questions, whatever questions are there. So you can just send it through a Word document. I'll answer all those a little later. Okay. Yeah. Please go ahead. We can take up the last question.
Okay. So on the last question from Mr. Al Amin. Yes. In Indonesia, smiling or nodding is the standard way to acknowledge others, whereas in India, people use the head bobble. Are these non-verbal gestures passed down through written cultural texts, such as ancient performance arts, or are they purely unwritten social habits learned through the daily life?
Yeah, so actually it's not with the ancient performances art that these have it, and it's for every country that there are certain non-verbal gestures, postures, which probably is purely unwritten, and it is learned through those social habits only, through our daily lives. So the non-verbals, yeah, of course it is, through the daily habits only, daily life habits only, it is disseminated. That's a good question again. So it can be a good example, like which can be taken up.
Like this one.
Thank you to everyone who actively participated by asking such thoughtful questions. We sincerely appreciate your enthusiasm and participations. Once again, we would like to express our deepest gratitude to Dr. Nutan Kumari for sharing such valuable knowledge and experiences with us today. We also extend our sincere appreciation to all participants for your active participation throughout this webinar. We hope today's session has broadened your perspective on the importance of English in fostering international collaboration and encourage you to pursue future global academics and research partnerships. Thank you for joining us. My name is Aulia Handayani. Thank you for your attention. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Nutan Kamari.
Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Dan untuk peserta silakan diisi link ininya ya, absensi untuk sertifikat. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu semua dan Zoom-nya akan segera dimatikan. Terima kasih atas partisipasinya.